I come to the floor to strongly urge all my colleagues, Democrats and Republicans, to oppose cloture on the so-called DREAM Act. That will be one of our votes in just a few minutes. All of these votes are important. I think that is the most important. And, Mr. President, the reasons we should oppose cloture are very simple and very basic, and they all go to this past election, and they all ask the question, have we been listening at all to the American people? Because the American people have been speaking loud and clear on issues that pertain to the DREAM Act. I would point to three in particular. Number one, the DREAM Act is a major amnesty provision. There are no two ways about it. It grants at least 2.1 million illegals amnesty, and it puts them on a path towards citizenship, which will also allow them to have their family members put in legal status in this country. That means when you count all of those people, there are probably 2 to 3 times that initial 2.1 million people who will be granted some form of amnesty. When we're not securing our borders adequately, when we're not putting a system in place to enforce workplace security, I think that is absolutely wrong. Secondly, we're in the middle of a serious recession. The American people are hurting. Things like slots at public colleges and universities, things like financial aid for those positions are very scarce and very sought after, more than ever before, because of the horrible state of our economy. These young illegals who would be granted amnesty would be put in direct competition with American citizens for those scarce resources. Are we really listening to the American people about the struggles they're going through right now in this desperate economy? If we do that, the answer would clearly be no. And third, what about spending and debt? The American people have been speaking to us loud and clear about that, and yet the DREAM Act would increase spending and deficit and debt yet again. So would we be listening to the American people about that were we to pass the DREAM Act? Absolutely not. The DREAM Act has at least $5 billion of unpaid for spending in it by all reasonable estimates. If you grant amnesty to 2.1 and then down the million people and then down the road, you can double or triple that when you count family members. Of course, there is cost to that in terms of federal government benefits and programs and spending. And reasonable estimates say that's at least $5 billion of cost, unpaid for, increasing spending, increasing deficit, increasing debt. So if we did that by passing the DREAM Act, would we be listening to the American people? Absolutely not. Let's come to the Senate floor and let's perform our first and most solemn duty, which is to listen to the American people, listen to the citizens of our states, and truly represent them here in this important body. Let's listen to them when they say no amnesty. Let's listen to them when they say how difficult their lives are in this horrible economy. Let's listen to them when they say control spending and deficit and debt. Don't increase it yet again. I propose we listen to them, and I will listen to them and vote no on cloture on the DREAM Act.